this revelation of the Twitter files, where we see this collusion that was taking place between the Biden campaign and Twitter. Well, we didn't have the time with Congressman Roy because he was running late, but we've got Scott Shepard. He is with the National Center. He is the director of the National Center's Free Enterprise Project. Scott, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thanks so much, Tony. Great to be with you.
All right, Scott, what do we know about this? This is, I mean, we all knew it was happening, but this is the first time we've seen solid evidence that it, in fact, did happen.
Yeah, well, as you say, we knew it was going on since the first. We knew that it was censorship. We knew that it was astonishing that the New York Post was locked out of Twitter for weeks and weeks at a time. And I think we all know that this is also just the tip of a very deep iceberg, that we know that the same things were going on at Facebook, that the same things were going on with Google, that they continued into this administration, that collusion occurred, and collusion and combinations to deny American civil rights occurred between government actors and Twitter and Facebook and Google. That's actors in ways that might be criminal.
Yeah, that's the important point here. You know, we're talking about the bluebird there, and I'm hoping that feathers will fly over this as there is more investigation into this. But when you have a government entity, and we saw this with the Biden administration, remember back during COVID when they said they were going to talk to the social media, they were going to call them in and talk to them about disinformation. When the government actually gets a private entity to censor speech, that is a violation.
Oh, absolutely. It's been established, at least since the civil rights movement, that if state actors act to deny American civil rights, they work with private parties to do things which would be illegal for the government to do on its own, then the government has denied civil rights, and eventually those carry criminal offenses. We all have to be certain that this has occurred across social media, yes, across the aggregator platforms, right? And this really needs to be looked into. And once we have a non-corrupt attorney general, prosecutions need to start.
I mean, you're right. I mean, this is something we need to be very clear about. If Twitter was doing it, then there's a very, very high probability that we see it from Facebook, Instagram, Google. All of these other social media giants had to be doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. They've worked in lockstep all along, and it's just but we know that Facebook and Fauci were colluding to call Americans who were saying true things on the Facebook platform misrepresenters, which is to say calling them liars and then locking down their account. Well, in any normal understanding of basic common law and hundreds of years of American law, that's defamation. And it's defamation with malice aforethought, and it's defamation by collusion between government and private actors. So there should be huge damages awarded to everybody who was knowingly called a liar by these companies falsely and willfully.
I mean, Scott, could this shake up the whole social media world?
Well, I certainly hope so, because if Musk gets Twitter working properly and openly, then it'll be obvious every time that Facebook is censoring. It'll be immediately clear when they're lying, when they're censoring. It'll be clear. There'll be an avenue to make it clear when Google is using its methods to highlight left-wing information and to hide conservative information that they've been doing, obviously, and for years. And so if Twitter manages to be successful, isn't shut down by this rapacious attorney general who thinks that going to a PTA meeting is domestic terrorism, right? If he manages to survive, I think this could be the beginning of the end for the Silicon Valley, the notion that Silicon Valley controls our thoughts.
I mean, this begins to explain a little bit more of why the left was so opposed to Musk obtaining control of Twitter. I guess they didn't burn the files. I mean, what else might he find in there?
Oh, well, as I say, we're almost certain that there was collusion with Fauci. I'm almost certain that there was collusion with this administration that didn't stop from the campaign to the administration, and that's gone on all the way through until now. And you know that's true because the Clinton playbook was pulled out today. There was a press conference, and that new press secretary, who doesn't seem to know anything about anything, she went to the old Clinton routine. Oh gosh, this is just old stuff. We all knew about this. Well, you've been denying it until now. So the fact that it's old just makes you even more aggressively a liar, and your collusion to deny civil rights even more grave.
Yeah, actually, I've got that clip, but I'm not going to have time to play it today. I'm going to play it tomorrow. Scott, thanks so much for joining us at the last minute. Appreciate you stepping in.
Of course, anytime, Tony.